Ladies and gentlemen, the next ceremony will begin shortly. Please make your way to your seats and ensure one more time that all mobile devices are silenced. Additionally, as a reminder, this portion of the event will also be broadcast on Facebook Live. Good afternoon. I'm Colonel Paul Hara, the Master of Ceremonies for the change of command. The Commander of Troops for today is Brigadier General Paul Rowlett, Chief of Staff, Arkansas Air National Guard. You will notice that Brigadier General Thomas Crimmins has joined Generals Penn and Dodro on stage to relinquish command to Brigadier General Leon Dodro. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move into the ceremonial portion of today's ceremony, the Governor of Arkansas has asked that the following comments be shared in honor of today's ceremony. On behalf of the state of Arkansas, I welcome the men and women in uniform, along with families, friends, and community partners gathered to celebrate this change of command of the Arkansas Air National Guard from Brigadier General Tom Crimmins to Brigadier General Leon Dodro. As you formally transfer command today, this is an appropriate time to honor the outgoing commander for his dedication and service. As Governor, I am grateful for General Crimmins' leadership during this time as commander. The success of our National Guard units and missions reflect the enduring partnership between the active component, the reserve component, and the local community. Arkansans recognize the value that our soldiers and airmen bring to the security of our state and nation. I am confident General Dodro will continue to lead the Arkansas Air National Guard in the pursuit of excellence. In addition, I would like to thank all the men and women in uniform for their selfless service and dedication to duty. Sincerely, Asa Hutchinson. I would now like to introduce the presiding officer for today's ceremony, the Adjutant General of the Arkansas National Guard, Major General Kendall W.
Thank you once again. Make sure I don't get some eyeglasses. We've got a number of folks up here that built long to meeting number one. Hey, so just want to say thanks again for coming out and joining us on what is a very exciting day. It is also a day tinged with a little bit of bittersweet. We're getting ready to welcome in Leon Dodro as the commanding for the Arkansas Air National Guard. But to do that, we've got to see off Brigadier General Tom Crimmins and his wife Trish as they get ready to move on to their next assignment. And Tom has made himself and Trish just an invaluable part of the Arkansas National Guard command structure. The accomplishments are just almost too many to enumerate. I'll try that here in just a moment. So these kinds of events, we do these to recognize the incoming and the outgoing, but it's also an opportunity to recognize the challenges and successes that faced the organization during the command tenure for General Crimmins. And I think once you see all of the work that our Air Guardsmen have done over the past 2 years, you'll just be stunned. You know, Tom is just a fierce advocate for Air Force values. When I think about Tom, the thing that comes first to mind is excellence in all that we do. You know, you look at everything that Tom has done during the course of his tenure here, deployments to all 6 regional combatant commands. He's activated the 23rd Cyber Operations Squadron, training over 100 airmen nationwide, just doing the networks against intrusion. Thousands of surveillance hours for Operation Freedom Sentinel and Resolute Support. He was the first person, the first Air Guard commander to ever deploy the National Guard Response Force in response to civil unrest in downtown Little Rock. Those folks out there and put their lives on the line for 4 days straight back in June of last year and did absolutely superb work. In fact, executed thousands of mandates in support of the state government fighting the pandemic. And that ranged from folks who are providing shots, doing screening, telephone answering stations, providing information out to the civilian populace. He's also won 2 national level awards for excellence. And then on top of that, if we're not tired of winning yet, he's secured the C-130J model aircraft for 189 Airlift Wing in Roblox, as well as the F-35 Core Military Sales Mission for the 188 here in Fort Smith. So Tom, I mean, I don't know what to beat that in terms of an encore act in the next assignment, but I plan on following you and Trish and watching the amazement of all the things that you pull off there in Saudi Arabia. And I just want to say thanks for everything that you've done for the Arkansas Air National Guard, for the Arkansas National Guard at large, and more importantly for the Air Force. Leon, I'm going to say right up front, and I don't mean this, no pun intended in this, but you've got some big shoes to fill. But Leon's got his own set of accomplishments out there that I think are worthy of bringing to the fore. Took command in August of 2019, and since then, through over 12,000 hours of ISR support to combatant commanders, including over 200 kinetic strikes. He's developed new engagement tactics, techniques, and procedures to let the enemy know they may run, but they're not going to hide from the U.S. Air Force. He built the Racial Act Operations Center, a $17 million facility, the first of its kind in the nation, to provide fusion for ISR, kinetic activity, as well as intelligence product production. He arranged for contract casts and joint tactical air controller training at Racial Act Range, which secured the life of that facility, enabling us to use it as a selling feature to the Singaporeans when they came out looking for the F-35 mission center. He synced the city, the state efforts between the city government, between the city government, as well as the Chamber of Commerce, the governor's cabinet agencies, as well as the congressional delegation in D.C. to win the F-35 mission set coming here in the beginning of 2023. And finally, as if he didn't have enough things to do, he went out and designed and executed Operation Established Area, which was the first time that we've flown MQ-9 Reapers out of Fort Smith, engaging targets on Fort Chaffee, Racial Act Range from distant locations. So obviously Leon is up to the task. He's got the vision, he's got the capability, he's got the skill sets necessary to step up and lead a complex organization. So Leon, I'm just going to give you just a few pieces of guidance here as you get ready to take command of the organization. Charge number 1, take care of your pay, promotions, awards, recognition, all of those kinds of things were important to the young airmen to join our formations. And it's just as important to their families. It's good for them to be able to see that their airmen are being appreciated and recognized for all of the sacrifice and the service they provide. As part of that also, though, we've got to train and groom some of them to turn into leaders. Because when you finally get ready to leave, you're going to have folks out there in squadron and group command that we're going to be looking to step up and take over wing and state level duties. And then finally, promote diversity, equity, and inclusion across our entire formation. A lot of folks will stop there and give you feedback that that's just some kind of radical, left-wing kind of drama that we're trying to throw out. It is absolutely about ratings. When you look at the number of folks that were available to join our military formation, whether it is Army or Air, across East Harrison League. Every one of those folks that we can entice into our formations strengthens our ability to respond to the nation's call, and it makes us a stronger organization overall. So I'm going to throw that to you in terms of taking care of our area. Number two, stay focused on the future. You know, F-35s, C-130Js, those are all great accomplishments. That's yesterday's news. What comes next? That's what we've got to stay focused on as general officers. Figure out what that next mission set, what that next mission that needs to be established with the successful airmen. Go out there, beat down the bureaucracy that's going to try to stop us, and make things happen. And then finally, number three, take care of your area. So, again, you know, I just want to say what a great honor it is to be here and be a part of the ceremony. I think we've got exactly the right team. You and Michelle come in and write the next chapter in the history of the Arkansas Air National Guard, and I'm so proud to see you do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, General Penn. Brigadier General Crimmins will now provide comments of the outgoing commander.
Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon again to those that were present this morning. Mr. Mayor and all the other distinguished guests, I'm not going to go through the list. I know you were all introduced earlier. I also listened this morning. It was quite a long list, but we were honored by your presence. It's wonderful to see you, and we're happy to have you with us. And my intention is to make these remarks brief, and as Trish will tell you, I usually fail at that, but we'll see where we go. This is today is about you, Leon. I couldn't be more proud of you, and I look forward to watching you and Michelle lead, even if it's from 8,000 miles away. So there's two real themes that I just want to touch on quickly in my remarks is pride and thanks. So the first thing I'll go through is how proud I was to join this organization, the Arkansas Air National Guard, 4 years ago. I think if you look around in most walks of life, religion comes to mind quickly. Is those that convert later in life are usually the most passionate about their newfound choice. And I've tried to be that as I moved from 26 plus years in the active component into the Air National Guard, is to be a passionate guardsman. And in my 4 years, I feel like I've gotten a graduate level education in how to be an Air Guardsman, being an ADR, a DSG, an ADOS person, getting ready to run a stat tour. So I think I checked off almost everything. I didn't get to be technician, sorry. So maybe we'll come back at some point to do that. But it by far was the best decision of my professional life. And when Trish and I packed up the family and camped from Honolulu, Hawaii, and come to Little Rock, Arkansas for the third time, it was our last one. We bought a house. Our intention was to spend 3 years here at the wonderful 189th, and then follow my predecessors, Gator and Eggs, and be done and move on. And I think it was Colonel Gentry earlier this morning who said, you may think you're in charge, but you're not in control. And I was not in control of those decisions, points, and we embraced every change, because every single one of them was a change. But as we move on, leave Arkansas again now for the fourth time in our lives. We leave behind our own personal legacy in our daughters, who neither of whom were born in Arkansas, both born in Texas. That's okay. But both claimed Arkansas throughout their lives. And whenever they were growing up in school, and people said, "Where are you from?" asked them that, they always replied Arkansas. And our youngest Lauren just graduated last month from Fayetteville as a proud Ridgeback. Now both of them are at UAS, so they start this last week and next. So they will stay behind in Little Rock while we go up to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So I mentioned this to the governor. I think she was there yesterday for my exit interview with our commander-in-chief. Arkansas, you don't know how wonderful and what a treasure this state is. And once you come here, you realize that. And I also let the governor, and I said, to be frank, it's on the air side. When folks first find out they're in stations in Arkansas, their first reaction is not like, whoop, yeah. It's usually the exact opposite. Like, oh my goodness, Arkansas, because there's stereotypes out there, right? But once they get here, most of them never want to leave. And at least in the 189th, we took advantage of that for the longest time. And we took that talent and kept it here in Arkansas. And we're continuing to do so. We'll be able to do so now with Steel 30J down there. The second thing I'm proud of is I'm proud of our airmen. It's just amazing. So, General Penn, you rattle off the list of accomplishments, none of which were mine, all of which were the airmen in this state, in the 2 wings and the Joint Force Headquarters. I was proud to lead them, but I'm wise enough not to take credit for what they did. So, on behalf of everything you said, and we'll say here shortly, I want to say thank you to all the airmen that actually did the work and created those accomplishments. There's too many to list, but we actually gave a couple of awards during the intermission between, not the little short one, but in between this morning's ceremonies and this afternoon's to recognize some of our airmen have been recognized at the national level out of the headquarters at Camp Robinson. And I'll give one special shout out right now. Hiding around here somewhere. Tech Sergeant Christine Norman, so she was, here she is looking at that. Recognized by General Holton and by General Kelly, who's the Air Force A1, as the NCO of the Year for the Reserve Home for A1, so for personal issues. So, really proud. The whole headquarters was rewarded as well. Nate Beeson was recognized as a field grade officer for the same recognition, and the staff itself as a whole. So really, really cool. The wings that are standing here represented in front of you, both wings have a long established history of excellence, of which the latest was each wing performed at the highest level. So in the 188, they were awarded the Meritorious Unit Award for all of their work, some of which General Penn touched on, and the 189 for the Outstanding Unit Award. So just amazing work being done. Our Kansas, the governor, the civic leaders that are elected, you don't know how proud and how lucky you have with the quality of airmen that come to Arkansas or raised from Arkansas and choose to join our National Guard. And then the last thing I wanted to say I was proud of is our mission, and Washington did most of it, so I'm not going to repeat it, but I mean, just the new missions that are going on, I will bring here. Both the 188 and the 189, they're standing missions. The missions they currently have today, they are without question the best in the Air Force. Not just in the Air National Guard, but the best in the Air Force. Recognized globally, and in a lot of cases, for what they do. And now on top of that, both separate wings are able to secure a new future moving forward. Without forgetting about the past, that both wings have that tie to the past. 189th will be the C-130 HFTU until the Air Force and the Air Guard stops flying that airframe, which is decades away. And same thing for the 188. We will continue to do FP9 ops and intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance operations until the Air Force invests itself in those missions, which again will be decades away. So keep up the great work. I was going to tell a little story, but I'm going to pass on that one because it's probably not appropriate to the audience. But let me say that, I mentioned this to the governor yesterday, Mayor, I mentioned to you, I was up in Washington, D.C. a couple weeks ago when former wing commander here before, Leon, Colonel Kinney, now Brigadier General Kinney, I was there for his promotion. And after that ceremony was over, I had the wonderful pleasure of having a very animated conversation with a defense contractor or lobbyist, I guess he was, who had just turned out happened to be one of his clients as the state of Michigan. So he was not happy finding our Kansas and Air to talk about that. We had a very lovely conversation about it, very nice. So again, something that little old Arkansas, as I kept saying to him, was to be proud of. The last thing I'll finish up with is thank yous. A lot of folks to thank. I want to thank thank you for always supporting our airmen. You're the senior enlisted leader for the JAG, you're a soldier, but we care about airmen, and it doesn't go unnoticed, so thank you very much. General Pang, thank you for all of your support over the last few years. It's been wonderful. You don't know how many times I've been asked by airmen, especially from other states, what it's like working for an Army 2-star. We just had an Air Force tag. There's the first one with that transition. What it was like. I always said the same thing. It's been a pleasure working for you. You led Commander's Command. You provide us top cover. You give us right enough boundaries, and then you let us stumble along in between the sidelines until we get it right. So thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate it. To Exinator, my predecessors to the 189, but more importantly now, working with the governor, thank you for the support and everything you've shown in the Arkansas Air National Guard. It's been amazing, your support, and knowing that we've got Air Guardsmen, former Air Guardsmen, in that office is just very, very helpful. So I really, really appreciate it. And then, of course, last but not least, I need to thank my family. It's just been an amazing journey. We leave Arkansas with a heavy heart. So we came here to stay, and now we have to leave again. It's never in the plan. We leave our children behind. They're grown, so it's a little easier. But it's not going to be easy for Trish to leave her fine children that she got 2 years ago for her birthday from her daughter. It was her 2-year-old Lucy, her husky. That we are not. I convinced her that taking a Siberian husky to Saudi Arabia wasn't the best idea. I think she finally got it, but she's not happy about it. So, baby, thank you. I can't wait for our next adventure. I know this for sure. This time in Saudi Arabia will be so much better than the year I spent there. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you, General Crimmins. Before we move into the formal change of command, we will take this opportunity to thank the Crimmins family for their service to the state and to their country. General Rowlett, please ready your formation. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as General Penn directs the reading of the citation to accompany the award of the Legion of Merit Medal to Brigadier General Crimmins.
Wait, hey, up! Publish the order.
Attention to order. Brigadier General Thomas D. Crimmins distinguished himself by exceptionally meritorious conduct in the performance of outstanding service to the United States as 189th Airlift Wing Commander and as Arkansas Air National Guard Air Component Commander from 24 May 2017 to 7 June 2019 and 8 June 2019 to 7 August 2021, respectively. During these periods, the exemplary ability, diligence, and devotion to duty of Brigadier General Crimmins were instrumental factors in the resolution of many complex problems of major importance to the Air Force. Significantly, he led his wing's domestic operation team to support the 2017 hurricane season, pushing command and control airmen into the heart of Houston's flood-ravaged city. As Air Component Commander, General Crimmins led the strategic direction of 2 Air National Guard wings supporting operations in all 6 geographic combatant commands. He diversified the mission at the 189th Airlift Wing, enabling activation of the 223rd Cyber Operations Squadron, assuring critically needed mission defense training and graduating 100 total force cyber airmen in its first year. His further advocacy enabled the 188th Wing to support operations Freedom Sentinel and Resolute Support, with 24-hour-a-day coverage that gave combatant commanders and warfighters relevant situational awareness through thousands of NQI surveillance and attack hours, which resulted in hundreds of targets exploited and 379 kinetic events over 2 years. Moreover, General Crimmins led over 2,000 airmen at both wings in navigating this intense transition into operations during the global coronavirus pandemic. During the first few months of the pandemic, his airmen assisted in the mobile triage of 19,479 citizens, ensured that 8,439 coronavirus tests were accomplished, enabling countless life-saving procedures. His leadership resulted in recognition for the 188th Wing as a Meritorious Unit Award recipient and the 189th Airlift Wing as an Air Force Outstanding Unit Award recipient. The superior initiative, outstanding leadership, and personal endeavor displayed by General Crimmins reflect great credit upon himself the Air National Guard, and the United States Air Force. Ladies and gentlemen, please be at ease or remain standing. At this time, we would also like to invite Mrs. Crimmins to the stage to recognize her years of dedication and selfless service to the airmen of the Arkansas Air National Guard.
Wait, hooray, Rick.
Major General Penn will now present Mrs. Crimmins with the Arkansas Exceptional Service Medal. The citation reads, "The Governor of Arkansas has awarded the Arkansas Exceptional Service Medal to Mrs. Crimmins, Arkansas Air National Guard. Mrs. Crimmins distinguished herself by exceptionally meritorious conduct in the performance of service to the state of Arkansas and to the United States through sustained service to the Arkansas National Guard from 24 May 2017 to 7 August 2021. As First Lady to the 189th Airlift Wing and then to the Arkansas Air National Guard, Mrs. Crimmins was an influential devotee whose strategic touch empowered and reinforced the Arkansas Air Component Commanders and Adjutant General's vision. Mrs. Crimmins has always been a steadfast supporter of Joint Force, state, federal, and civic partner engagements, acting as an Arkansas National Guard ambassador and advancing quality of life and domestic mission readiness concerns for over 2,000 airmen. Mrs. Crimmins was an adept and versatile mentor to single and married airmen of all ranks through direct and indirect counseling and training. She excelled in service to the command team during formal spouse training to large groups, and more often through focused one-on-one attention to individual airman outreach. Her enthusiastic and compassionate engagements celebrated individual accomplishments, promotions, births, or anniversaries, and brought comfort to families recovering from personal tragedy. Furthermore, her support to National Guard partners has led to collaborative synergies with regional community councils, adding value to our local stakeholders and citizenry. Finally, Mrs. Crimmins' voice at United States Air Force Eastbound Summits spotlighted National Guard frictions and solidified needed benefits for hundreds of airmen. The singularly distinctive accomplishments of Mrs. Crimmins reflect great credit upon herself, the Arkansas National Guard, and the great state of Arkansas. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Thank you, Generals Penn and Mrs. Crimmins. Change of command ceremonies are an important part of our tradition and are significant in many ways. The commanders and airmen in uniform before you today represent over 2,000 men and women of the Arkansas National Guard and the Civil Air Patrol. On behalf of all the men and women of the Arkansas National Guard and the Arkansas Civil Air Patrol, they will now honor Brigadier General Crimmins with a final salute.
Wait, take, hook.
The transfer of colors during the change of commands symbolizes an important military tradition. For as long as airmen have joined together for a common cause, their leaders have been represented by a distinctive sign of authority. Airmen come and go, but each unit lives on through the dedicated efforts of every past and present commander. The acceptance of the colors by the new commander from the old commander symbolizes the transfer of responsibility of command. The action signifies that the new commander assumes a position of great responsibility, and hereto the colors serve as a visible sign of that commander's authority. Brigadier General Crimmins will now relinquish command after 2 years as the commander of Arkansas Air National Guard. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as General Penn directs the reading of the oath.
Publish the order.
Attention to orders. Department of the Air Force Special Order Number G07, effective 7 August 2021. Brigadier General Leon J. Dodro assumes command of the Arkansas Air National Guard by order of Major General Kendall W. Penn, the Adjutant General, Arkansas National Guard. On stage during today's ceremony, Master Sergeant Bradley Cohen, the First Sergeant, is the airman charged with the safeguarding care and display of the Arkansas Air National Guard colors.
Sir, I relinquish command. Sir, I assume command.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. It is my honor and distinct pleasure to introduce the new commander of the Arkansas Air National Guard, Brigadier General Leon Dodro.
All right, this is the third speech, and the last one for the ceremony for the year. So, once again, thank you, Mayor. David Harris, thank you so much. Sir, thank you for the kind words. General Gibbons, thank you. I want to recognize my lovely wife, Michelle, who's always been very supportive, great school leader. Thank you. I appreciate this. General Crimmins, Church, I'm going to say we truly appreciate it. This is a bittersweet moment for Michelle and I as well, because we really enjoy your leadership and your friendship. You meant so much to us. I'm excited for you and your new role in Summer area. I know you're going to do great things together to save Arkansas and their national guard. And sir, though his boots may be much smaller than mine, size 15s, you left me some incredible footsteps, right? So I will work to make sure that I fill those footsteps as best as I can to carry the mission forward. In all seriousness, I truly appreciate your support and friendship. I feel blessed to have had the opportunity of working with you. General Penn, I cannot express my gratitude enough for your allowing me the privilege to command Arkansas Air National Guard. Thank you for trusting me and look forward to your guidance and serving under your command. I'm incredibly honored to serve our Arkansas Airmen. Our leaders are committed to empowering airmen. Their passion to serve is evident in both wings as their many accomplishments. These are challenging times worldwide. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and we're seeing an evolution of threats moving from the Middle East fight to the new peer-to-peer across all domains. But there's some exciting news things coming from both wings. The 188 has continued to kill it with all three mission sets. We'll be adding to our military sales in the coming years. We will continue to evolve our current mission sets and push them farther and faster than any of our contemporaries. The 189th, absolutely killing it as a premier training schoolhouse in the C-130 division. Soon you'll be accepting your C-130Js, and I know you'll continue to push that mission set forward as well as cyber. We will not rest. We will continue to accelerate change. To the airmen of the 188 and the 189th, I'm tremendously optimistic about our future and grateful for this opportunity to lead this organization. extremely proud of your past accomplishments, and I look forward to what we will achieve. Thank you for your passion, service, and dedication to duty. I promise to give you 100% and then some. Arkansas Air Power leads the way. Thank you.
Members of the Arkansas Air National Guard are presenting a bouquet of red roses to Mrs. Trish Crimmins.
Wait, hooray, red.
The fully bloomed red roses signify her many contributions to the Arkansas National Guard and her unity with Brigadier General Crimmins in supporting all the programs of the Arkansas National Guard. The bouquet of red roses is being presented to Mrs. Michelle Dobro to symbolize her steadfast fidelity and commitment to her husband and to the Arkansas National Guard. Those yellow roses also remind us of the members of our units and the U.S. Armed Forces who are on this day serving around the globe in our nation's defense. The roses are not yet fully bloomed, symbolizing the promise of days to come. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the benediction given by Chaplain Kerr, the singing of the Air Force song, and the departure of the official party.
Will you pray with me? Gracious God, we thank you for days that passed, and we embrace our future with excitement. God, we ask that you bless the Arkansas National Guard and use us to honor you. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Wings came up.
Thank you again, Chaplain Kerr. Thank you. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the ceremony. Thank you, Chaplain Kerr. Thank you, everyone who helped to put this together. I'd like to make a special shout out to the Civil Air Patrol cadets who you saw working around the ceremony today. It was great for them to be a part of the ceremony today. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Please wait for the ushers to release your robes and join us for a receiving line in the back of the room. This ends today's ceremony.